What's up, board game people? It's been a busy week, and July is really just getting started. Before we get so far into the craziness coming our way, let's take a look back at June and see how things are going, and then look forward to see what's coming your way. I do these videos so you get a glimpse into what's coming up and what's going on behind the scenes per se. For me, they help hold me accountable for goals, and they give me an outlet to talk about things that don't really belong in my normal coverage. As always, I don't get money for making my videos from game companies. I make them because I want to. Hopefully you'll find them helpful and sometimes informative and entertaining. If I get things wrong or we disagree about something, let me know in the comments and I'd be happy to discuss. June was a heck of a month. I slowed down a bit, took a breather, and we had some company in from out of town. And the YouTube algorithm gods aren't the happiest with me right now, but I needed a little bit of a break, and we're back at it now. This month, the channel is 6 months old. It's hard to believe that you've allowed me to hang around this long. Hopefully, things just keep getting better as we go. First up, let's take a look at what came in this month. It was a slower month, but we still got some great deliveries in. First up, I got the Rubble dice from this war of mine. This is one of the coolest dice I've ever seen, and I'm extremely glad I grabbed it when I did. I've been working hard to catch up on my Imperium painting, and the one thing that's killing me was the lack of a good light. I lost the cord to my Ott light and I wanted something a bit bigger, so I grabbed this one off Amazon. This light has been amazing. I'll be 100% happy with it when I find a permanent place to mount it on. It's so nice not having to squint at everything and try to make sure I have full coverage. With this sucker, you can see what you're doing. Ahead of us having company, I ordered Eclipse Second Dawn of the Galaxy, thinking it would be a fun game for us to try out. Sadly, I didn't have time to learn all the rules ahead of time, and it was looking a bit heavy to learn on the fly. I'm happy to have the game now, and my wife and I will learn how to play so we can teach others next time we get the opportunity. I also got in the Sumo pledge for the Shadows of Brimstone for Forbidden Fortress. I did the math, and what I needed from this set made it more than worth getting, even though I'd already had a core set and I'd get a second one. So now I have an extra core set I get to sell, and make back a little bit of the money. I was able to grab this during the yearly Roll to Move convention. They had a great sale on their online store, and I took full advantage of it. I was waiting for and hoping my copy of My Father's Work would make it in before a company arrived, but something happened with my order. Thankfully, they have great customer service, and about 12 hours after sending them an email, they were ready to ship another package out again. It looks like it never left the warehouse. Hopefully next month we'll be unboxing a copy. Next up, let's take a look at what I backed this month. Let's get the one that I already let slip out of the way. I late backed My Father's Work after looking into it to add it to my news cycle. The game and the components look spectacular, and I've heard really good reviews on it. The app seems to need a little work still, but I have faith after reading everything else that it will come along. I should have already had this one in hand, but it seems my package was lost before it left the warehouse. I'm waiting to hear when the next attempt at shipping will be made. I jumped in on the new Castles of Burgundy remake. I'm pretty sure this will be a great fit for my family with enough meat to be competitive with different paths to victory, but simple enough to learn quickly and play seriously from the first game. I backed this one at the Majestic Sundrop pledge so I'd get everything with a bit of a discount. I decided to grab a pledge of Aeons End this month. I grabbed the Cavernous Maw pledge so I'd get the 4 waves that came in at a decent discount, and the new wave of content as well. There was a bit of a disappointment in this campaign for me, though. In the Pledge Manager, I found that they're adding an additional surcharge to Wave 3 that was unannounced. This is due to its size, but this isn't a great business practice, and it kinda irks me that they haven't even publicly acknowledged it yet. You can be sure you'll hear more from me about this once I find out if they're going to recidify the situation or not. Another disappointment this month was Gotham City Chronicles campaign. The RPG offering was interesting, but just looking at the numbers, backers were there for the board game in far larger numbers. Yet the campaign was set up to reward backers of the RPG almost exclusively. I will give it to them that towards the end they started to acquiesce a bit, but to me it was a letdown for a project that I was very excited about. I backed at $1 and I'll be expanding my pledge in the Pledge Manager if I can find the funds. Last this month, I backed Skyrise. The quality and the price point of this campaign really grabbed me. The game looks great too, and by many who have played Metropoly, the improvements they've made should have made it for a crunchier game. So I'm hoping this will be a hit with the family. I backed at the collector's edition and will likely go all in with the washed minis and the wooden tokens. So even on a slower month, I was able to find a few awesome surprises. Now, what did I skip? Only one this month. I dropped my pledge for RuneScape after the first week of the project. The game just doesn't have the meat I'll be looking for in a campaign-based adventure game. The theming, while sticking to RuneScape faithfully, was weak at best. This felt like a thinly stretched IP mask spread over an already weak game design. The excitement really left when I realized there was nothing but cards to be revealed during the project. They really needed to wow backers with more content and more bang for the buck on an already expensive game, and they really didn't do it. So what's in my cart? Well, the cart this month could be titled, I don't want to spend any money. My cart has grown considerably this month, but only because there are a ton of pledge managers open that will remain open for a month or two, and I don't want to spend the money finishing them off just yet. I'll get to these when my wallet has had some more time to recover. So in the cart I have Arydia, which is closing in August, Divinus, which has no firm closing date or period yet, Limbo 1.5, which could close at any time, and I'm keeping an eye on it, Teburu, with a few months until close. Anastyr, this one's a tough one. I'm already in it for quite a bit, and I don't want to waste the money on a refund. So I'll likely wait until the last minute to finish the pledge out, just in protest. This really will be my last project until Mythic has, pardon my French, got their shit straight. The Great Wall, I mostly need to pay for the shipping on this, and it won't be closing for a bit, so I'm just waiting that out. And Unsettled, here I have to decide if I want Vindication or not. Is Vindication worth it? So what did I paint this month? I've actually taken to painting quite a bit more recently. I'm finding it to be a good way to keep my mind occupied and away from things happening around the house. At times, it's one of the few happy places I can find for myself. This month, I've been hard at work on the Imperium miniatures, trying to finish those off so I could finally push out a new episode of that series in the new format I'm trying out. I've made the decision that going forward, I'm going to split the episodes to covering only 2 issues of the magazines. The more minis you get with the magazines, the more painting is required with each issue, and it's simply taking too much time to get through it all. The minis are coming along nicely for being painted by a total noob, and I don't really want to show them off or spoil the results before the episode. I have also been painting a Darth Vader helmet that we printed for my father-in-law. We had some printer issues with the huge Jupiter resin printer, so I wasn't able to get finished with it before he got here, but the print looks great, and I'm working on finishing up the paint job so I can get it mailed out to him. We did get a lot of board gaming in over the month. With company in from out of town, it was a pretty good variety of games hitting our table. My wife and I finished up a few more episodes of the Hunt a Killer Curtain Call season. This has been pretty good so far, but the boxes are getting a bit predictable. Each month you knock out one of the suspects on your list, and we've pretty much been solving each of these last few boxes by asking who the evidence that was presented centered on. Also, the puzzles don't really evolve or change format too much over the season. Now that we've seen more than half the boxes for the season, we're flying right along. A new one to hit our table was Ankh from Cool Mini or Not. I've heard great things about Ankh, but honestly, we've yet to be impressed. After some digging, I found out that 3 players is known to be a bad player count for this game. We played several different scenarios, and while it wasn't horrible, with 3 players, the dominant strategy that arose was to set yourself up to win by taking losses in battle and getting more extra points for warriors and followers lost. The one time we did have to combine gods, we combined with me barely off the starting line of the prestige track, and that pretty much sealed the victory for my wife, who was in the lead. Having the combined god move so far back in a 3-player game was just too much to overcome. We remain optimistic and want to see the game at a higher player count, but I'm going to hold off writing a review until then. We also played through several scenarios of Mansions of Madness, including one paid DLC scenario. All of them, without question, have been hits on the table. During the first scenario we played, one of our group got separated from the rest of the group, and they had a bit of a hard time, but I think the other scenarios made up for that. This one inches closer and closer to a review ready, and I want to play a few more of the long scenarios before really putting my stamp on the game. So far, I'd say it's a fantastic game. And in what's becoming a tradition, when we have company at our house, we played some Lords of Waterdeep. This remains a great go-to game when people can't or won't choose what to play next. The game is quick and easy to learn, but there are 100 twists and turns you can take on the path to victory. We play with both of the Scoundrels of Skullport tiles in play and all the lords in rotation. Your lords can make or break your game, but I would say that there's always a chance with good play and a bit of luck to pull out a win. And it seems the winner crown is almost always passed around the table for us. No one person rules in Waterdeep. So what am I searching for? Well, this list hasn't really changed. Money's still tight and will be for quite a bit, so I'm careful about picking anything up off this list. If I do, it's going to have to be a great deal. So I'm still looking for copies of Stars of Akarios, Bloodborne, Conan, Hate, and the Robinson Carusoe Collector's Edition. Nothing much is really going on in the game room at this very moment. It's a bit of a mess as I'm in the middle of painting for Warhammer 40k and the airbrush and the equipment is spread around. I'm also getting ready to film another unboxing, so even the game table's cluttered. The Kitty Highway's been complete for a few weeks now and the cats are loving it. They have easy access to us in the office now, even if the dogs are in here with us. I'm starting to plan out and think towards the building of my game table. And the first step in the whole process is getting the plans for the base version and beginning to make modifications to them. I also need to build a miter saw cart. As for right now, I'm really setting it out in the driveway to use it, and it really isn't good for making super accurate cuts. I'll begin working on the cart as soon as I can. The summer heat is at its worst right now, and we're getting well above 100 degrees almost every day here. I also still have to organize the garage after the last project. I tend to spread tools and trash around the garage while working on something, so I always make a habit of organizing and doing a full sweep and clean of all the tools before starting something new. So now on to channel updates. This month, we hit a ton of major milestones. We've accrued over 30,000 views. We broke 550 subs, blasted past 2,000 watch hours, and reached our first major milestone of 100 followers on Instagram. June was huge for the channel, and I can't say thank you enough to all of you. I'm so happy to have made it this far, and hopefully things will just keep getting better. So this month I started adding Amazon associate links to many of the videos. If there's something relevant to what's being discussed in the video, I try to post a link. These links truly cost anyone who clicks them nothing extra. You get the exact same great deal you'd normally get at Amazon, and they throw a few pennies my way. I don't yet know if I'll continue to add these or not. They take a bit of time to get added into the video, and I likely won't see any return for at least a year or more. They don't send you much. It's an experiment, and we'll see how it goes. I truly appreciate those of you who have bought some stuff through the links, though. Anything you buy from Amazon after clicking the link will help. It doesn't even have to be the linked item. So again, thank you, and hopefully they aren't a detractant in the video descriptions. The big story across the industry this month is shipping costs. I know this is getting old for everyone these days, and I've absolutely had it with companies spreading blatantly false information to try to justify overcharging for shipping well ahead of a project actually leaving the manufacturer. We've seen this with two of the largest companies in the business now. CMON and Mythic are both almost mirroring each other with their excuses and justifications. They're simply telling consumers this is the way it is and you'll pay what we want you to pay if you want your games. So sadly, yes, I'm done covering projects from CMON or Mythic until this trend changes. I'll continue to cover past projects that I've already been covering, but nothing new. I can't justify putting my stamp of approval on these projects that are actively harming consumers. I'd never want to recommend my viewers back a project that was going to shake them down for money in any way. And I'm truly sorry if you're put into that situation because of something I said about one of these projects. On a lighter note, you may have noticed I've begun expanding my coverage of retail news and releases. I hope this proves helpful to some of you all. I've been doing this slowly and will likely continue to expand the coverage as I find new and reliable news sources. If you have a great retail news source you think I should look at, please let me know. I feel like there are very few available, but I might just be missing them. Recently, upon suggestion from a few viewers, I've been changing up the introductions and the disclaimer for my videos. I'm trying to improve introductions to have more of a hook and shorten the disclaimer. The first 30 seconds of a video are massively important to keeping people watching, but I feel the disclaimer needs to be said. I stand by that disclaimer and I always will. I don't work for any companies, I work for you. There are many YouTubers in this space that cannot truthfully say that. For introductions, I still have a ways to go. I want them to be catchy and informative as to the content of the videos. They have to be kept under that 30-second mark, but I still need to let you know what we're going to be talking about and hopefully pique your interest. In the disclaimers department, I've already done what I plan on doing for now. I removed the reminder to like and subscribe from the spoken portion and moved that to a visual cue only. I try and word the disclaimer a bit differently each time. Sometimes it depends on the video, others it depends on how I'm feeling that day, but I try to keep it interesting or entertaining while getting through it in as short a way as possible. This month's goals. Last month I wanted to post more on Instagram. I was trying to get 3 to 4 posts a week. Well, I was able to do that for a short bit, but now I need to get back to it, so that monthly goal remains. Let's get more talking going on over on Instagram and hopefully find some new folks for the community. The rest of this month, and likely some of next month, is going to be getting back on top of the content schedule. I'm still tightening down my schedule, and now I tend to stick to it. I've switched to having weekly news videos, and now I'd love to get them out on Sundays instead of Mondays. I also want to keep up the trend of 3 videos a week if possible. Upcoming videos. This list only seems to grow. We still have Warhammer Imperium videos coming. Since I'm switching to 2 issues of video, I should have one out by the end of July or very early August. I also have a review video for Descent that I'd like to get to work on as well. That video hasn't been started yet, but it's getting close. I filmed an unboxing for Ankh, so now I need to figure out how to format that and record audio for it. So there are a few unboxings coming down the pipeline, an Imperium video, and hopefully a review soon. What am I excited for that's coming up? Usually I shoot for projects that are a bit further out, so let's change it up a bit this month. I'm beyond excited, like a fat kid in a candy store, excited for Return of the Dark Tower, the reprint. I missed the first campaign, and I was just too cash-strapped at the time, and have been beating myself up for it ever since. This game commanded ridiculous prices on the aftermarket, so this is going to be a great chance to grab it. I'm also over the moon that we're going to see Euthia relaunch on the same day. I'm excited to see what, if anything, has changed about the campaign and the offerings, and hopefully we'll be getting both expansions with this. It'll be interesting to see what changes Steamforge has suggested as well. Well, that's it for June. It was a busy month, and I don't expect it'll slow down again until maybe the end of the holidays. There's so much to do and so much to make videos about. The content must keep flowing. These are always a bit longer, and I really do appreciate those of you who stuck it out. We'll be back next month to see how we did, talk conventions, and pull the curtain back a little bit further. As always, if you like board game content, please consider subscribing and leaving us a like to help us grow the channel. It helps more than you'll ever know. Thanks for watching, stay cool, and play something fun tonight.